Hello and thank you for clicking on this channel. In this episode I want to invite you guys to watch a movie in mystery and horror genre. The movie is about 6 strangers who participate in an escape room event and the winner gets $10,000, but what they don't know is they will have to fight for their lives. In the first scene we see a calm and luxurious room, and then all of a sudden a boy falls from the ceiling and rushes towards the exit door, and he sees the puzzle is to open this door. It is a 4-digit lock, and as soon as he starts kicking and knocking on the door, he realizes that the wall from the other end of the room is closing in on him, crushing everything in between. The game starts and he doesn't have much time to solve the puzzle. He looks at his surroundings and finally sees this sentence. It is written on the wall: "Follow the light to the green pastures." While he's looking all around to find the lights and something green, he sees a green book. He goes up a ladder and picks up the book. The wall knocks him over and it is a few feet away from him, and he knows that he can't solve the puzzle in time, so he tries to escape from the ceiling, but whatever he does not work. Then the movie shows us the life of all of the contestants of this competition. First one is Zoe. She is a shy physics student who has a lot of information about different subjects, but her introverted personality does not allow her to have a lot of friends, and she spends most of her time alone. Next one is Jason, who works in the stock market and stuff like that, and looks like he's rich and he has a nice position. The third one is Ben, who works in a supermarket, and his father tells him that he should not feel bad and he will overcome his problems someday. Christmas is around the corner and Zoe's roommate invites her to her house because they have a party, but she says that she does not like parties and prefers to stay in the room. Before saying goodbye, an earthquake happens, and then we realize that Zoe was having a nightmare on a plane. Each of these 3 people find a box at their doorsteps. There is nothing written on any of these boxes, and if they want to open it, they have to solve a puzzle. For Jason and Ben it takes a lot of time, but for Zoe it's no problem. There is a text inside which reads, "You can be the first to escape from our escape room and win $10,000. The day of the game arrives, and when they want to get inside, their ID cards and cell phones are taken away from them. In the elevator we see 2 new characters. One of them is a nerd who brought in his cell phone somehow, and the second one is a girl named Amanda. There is a secretary there who tells them to wait. A few minutes later, players start talking and getting to know each other, and we see that the nerd has been in more than 93 escape rooms. While they are talking, Ben wants to go out and have a cigarette and realizes that the doorknob does not turn and it is locked from the other side, so the game begins. Players start looking around for clues and numbers and everything that can help them. Amanda finds the first clue and sees that all of the magazines on the table belongs to a doctor called Dr. Wu-Tan Yu. Mike finds a screwdriver and Zoe finds out that the name of the book is 451 degrees Fahrenheit, which could belong to the doorknob because there were some temperature degrees on that as well. They adjust the temperature of the doorknob and they realize that the room is getting hotter and hotter. They go and talk to the secretary again, and she repeats the same thing. Zoe says that there is no secretary, it's just a mannequin with a recorded voice. Jason finds the next clue, which is a lock, and Ben wants to break a window with a fire hydrant and sees that the fire hydrant is made of plastic. When he picks up the fire hydrant, all the room starts heating up. It's getting hotter and hotter. Zoe finds a key. She opens the door and they go to the room where the fake secretary is. There's a phone there and it rings. Jason answers the phone. It's a recorded message which says, "You should respect and follow all the rules." When he hangs up the phone, windows close and a heat wave gets inside through the vents in the room, which open up and the temperature rises really fast. Zoe reads something on the wall which says, "Put your cups on the coasters." So she looks for coasters and cups. She finds one and it's not a coaster but a bottom which is shaped like a coaster, and sees that there are 6 of them. When all of the players put their hands on the bottoms, at the same time a secret door opens and Jason wants to go in, but in order for the secret door to remain open they have to keep their hands on these coasters. Jason finds a vent that needs a screwdriver to be opened and Michael hands it to him. Jason opens it. Amanda follows Ben and Michael into the van, and now there are only 3 people left in the room. Zoe thinks that if she fills up the glasses that she found and put them on the coasters, the door would remain open, but it doesn't work unless the glasses are full. The open vent gets closed, and we hear Amanda that says, "I can't move," and go on. She has a panic attack. We see the mannequin is melting from the heat, and now there are only 2 people left in the room. When they fill the glasses, they realize that there is not enough water, and they have to fight for the last place to go inside the vent. The ceiling fires up, starts coming down, and then Ben remembers that he has a bottle of water, so he fills the glass, the vent opens, and they both go inside. As soon as they arrive at the next room, they hear an explosion behind them, and whatever was in the previous room definitely burned. Now the players realize that this game is different, and in order to live, they have to escape. The next room is played in a kind of an open field, and it is freezing cold. Everything around them is frozen, even the floor, which is like a frozen lake. There is only one door with a lock that can't be opened. They find a thermometer, a fish hook, and a jacket which they will have to share and take turn in using. There is also a hole in the floor, and they use the fish hook to see if they can find anything with it. In the meanwhile, Zoe finds a magnet and they attach it to the hook. Maybe that could find a key or something like that. They do find a key down there, but everything around it is frozen in a way that they can't pull it up. They ask Ben to use his lighter. Maybe they can make a fire and melt some ice down. And Ben, with an attitude, throws his lighter in front of them. The nerd, Danny, goes to pick the lighter, and then boom, surface cracks open and he falls into ice. Danny is struggling under the ice and punches the surface from down below, but he can't do anything. And whatever the others do don't work either. Amanda tries to jump in and saves him, but Jason stops her and tells her that even if she reaches Danny, she wouldn't be able to come back because of this stream. And so the first one dies. The remaining 5 start melting around the key using their body temperature, and the temperature is getting lower and lower. Finally, after a few hours, they succeed and unlock the door. The next room that they enter is upside down. It looks like a bar with a pool table in it, but just upside down. There is a doorknob missing, and they have to find it to solve the puzzle and enter the next room. A phone rings and the music starts to play. While they are looking for the clues around the room, the music stops and one part of the room goes under, and they know what they're dealing with. It's the classic musical chair. Amanda finds a lock which needs 4 numbers. Players look around for the numbers, and Zoe sees that they need to solve another puzzle with a lock. Music stops again and another part of the house goes under. Zoe solves the puzzle and shouts the numbers to Amanda. And when she opens the lock, she learns that one of the balls on the table is the doorknob, and she has to go to the other side of the room. There is a huge problem though. Most of the floor is gone now, and she has to jump to the other side. Amanda goes on the pool table and puts the ball in her pocket, but the ball slips out. She throws herself and catches the ball, but the music stops and the floor under her disappears. So she throws the ball towards Jason. Although she is hanging on to the phone cord, she lets go of it and goes down. In the next room, which is a pretty huge room, we see a few beds. And these beds look exactly like the beds of the players. Everything is set exactly like their own rooms. And now they find out that what was mutual between them all along was that they are all survivors. Ben survived a car crash in his teen years in which 6 people died but him. Michael was in a mine collapse. Zoe survived a plane crash. And Jason was the only survivor of a shipwreck. Danny and Amanda were survivors of their own stories as well. They look around for new clues, and the voice says, "Test your limits." Players start, but Zoe tells them the game is designed to have only one winner, so if none of us plays, they will have to call off the game because there are cameras everywhere. Players do not listen to her, and look for clues, and Zoe starts smashing the cameras. They come into conclusion that they have to pass a high voltage through a person to raise the heartbeat, and then they reach the limit of a person. So they choose the fattest one to do this, who is Michael. They do it, Michael falls down, but nothing happens. They try it again and again and again, to a point that Michael's heartbeat reaches 200 and dies. Their time is up, and the room starts filling up with poison gas. At this time, Jason says that maybe they have to decrease the heartbeat and they have to do the things vice versa. So he plugs the device to himself and concentrates until his heartbeat reaches 50, and then the door opens. Zoe is still breaking the cameras and doesn't want to leave the room. She breaks the final camera and falls down, and only Jason and Ben go to the next room and they start fighting for leaving Zoe and killing Michael. Ben sees that Jason is not who we think he is, and he will do anything to survive and win. The last game begins and Ben and Michael start hallucinating. It's obvious that they are poisoned and there is only one antidote. Ben finds it first and uses it and leaves the room before Jason. In the next scene we see that a few people enter the previous room, and also we see a mask on the ceiling, an oxygen mask. Before they know what happened to them, Zoe attacks them and hits them on the head, and then takes their guns and leaves. The last room that Ben is inside is the first room that we saw in the movie. The wall is getting closer and closer, and then Ben sees a fireplace and goes inside it, and somehow he survives. The wall reaches the end and Ben is the last man standing and alive. He comes out of the building and finds himself in a place which is clearly not part of the game and the puzzle. Then someone approaches and talks to him about the game. He tells Ben that they've been making a lot of money holding these games, and also tells him that he thought Ben would be the first one to be killed. He offers Ben a cigarette and then he tries to kill him. Ben finds a wood and hits the man in the head. Zoe arrives and shoots the man as well, and they kill this stranger. In the last scene we see Zoe with the policeman, and when she is about to explain what happened to them, realizes that the whole building is burned to the ground and there is no evidence. Ben and Zoe see each other a few times later. Zoe tells Ben that the creators of the game are still out there, and Ben has to help her find and stop them before anyone else dies, and says that she remembers the logo of the building. Ben refuses at first, but at the end he goes with Zoe. The end.